Good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun with Benzion. Today's daf is Nazir daf Yud Zayin number 17. Yesterday in Benzion, we talked about the concept of mixes Yom Kikulo, meaning when part of the day counts as an entire day, right? For example, the Mishnah on daf Ted Zayin, which was quoted earlier in the Masechta, that if you, even a 30-day Nazirus, if you end your Nazirus early on the 30th day, in the middle of the 30th day, so the beginning of the 30th day counts as the 30th day, mixes Yom Kikulo. If you die in your Nazirus, right, and you become tummy on the 30th day, then it's so sad, right? It dismantles the time of Nazirus, right? And we don't say mix Yom Kikula. The morning of the 30th day is like the completion of the 30 days in Nazirus. We explained the difference yesterday is that the din, I explained that mix Yom Kikula was a din of Dechuya, meaning it's Aliyah Adchak. When we're forced to say it, we say mix Yom Kikula. So therefore, when you end your Nazirus early, we're forced to judge, is your Nazirus over or not? So mixing Yom Kikulo, yeah, we're stuck, we're pushed to a corner, we say mixing Yom Kikulo. However, when it's an open question, we don't know if your Naziris is over or not, right? You became tummy in the middle of the 30th day. There's no reason to force me to say your Naziris should be over. I didn't end my Naziris yet, I didn't bring the carbonos. So therefore, when we're left to judge either way, we don't say Naziris is over, we don't say mixing Yom Kikulo. Now, what is the idea of mixing Yom Kikulo? Mixing Yom Kikulo, you could analytically look at it two different ways. Mixing Yom Kikulo means that what it sounds like, that part of a day is like an entire day. Having part of a day is considered an entire day, right? 2 hours is considered 24 hours. Or do we say mixing Yom Kikulo means, no, 2 hours is 2 hours. The question is it enough, right? In reckoning 30 days, right, 29 full days and 2 hours is considered to be enough. It's enough. It's die. It's enough. So it doesn't mean that the 30th day is a full day. It just means a half a day or part of a day is enough to count. It's a slightly different way of looking at it. The question is, do you look at it like you in the entire day, or do you look at it as just being enough? Now, this would play into what I was saying yesterday, that if the idea is that we look at an entire day, so right, basically it's just another way of saying part of a day is considered an entire day, right? That's not idea atchak. It's not we're forced to a corner, right? If you say though that it's enough, right? So we really don't have 30 days, but b'shas atchak, when we're forced to consider, we consider it to be enough, right? So that has, like we explained yesterday, that's a difference over there. When you bought the korbanos starting on the 30th day, we're forced to say. So we say a part of a day is considered enough of your third to be the 30th day, but not the entire day, right? And therefore, if you became tummy on the 30th day before you brought your korbanos, so we don't say part of the day automatically becomes the entire day, because if the pshat was mixing Yom Kikulo means an hour into the day automatically becomes the entire day, so who cares, right? Once 1 hour passes, I have 30 full days, so who cares if I'm tummy? So obviously that's not the pshat. The pshat is it just means it's enough. And if you don't end your Nazirus, so it's not enough. Now, and I'll also explain what we said yesterday, that there's actually, even though it's usually a chumrah, there's actually a kula. For example, the Mishnah says that if you end you take 2 Nazirus on yourself, 2 30-day Nazirus, 2 stam Nazirus, and you bring a korban earlier on the 30th day, and then you bring a korban earlier, right, so the 30th day, the morning of the 30th day, before you bring a korbanos, counts as the 30th day of your first Naziros. And the second half of the day after you bring korbanos counts as the first day of your second term of Naziros. So you bring a korbanos early on the 59th day, it's good enough, right, for 2 Naziros. Why? Because the 30th day was the first day of Naziros, and the 59th day, even though I brought the korbanos in the middle of the 59th day, the morning of that is considered also Naziros. So the 30th day counts as both Ola Lakan, Ola Lakan, Mizam Kukula, Ola Lakan, Ola Lakan. Now, in this case, it actually comes out a kula out of what I'm saying, because you split the day into 2 the 30th day. So the first half of the day is enough for the counting of the first 30 days. And it's also, the second half of the 30 days is also a partial day. So it's enough for the counting of the second day. But if you say that Mizam Kikula means part of the day is the entire day, you can't say that twice. You can only say that once. So that must be the Pshat Mizam Kikula. Now I want to advance this theory to today's daf Yud Zayin, where the Gemara brings a halacha. It's a brisa, which is quoted numerous times on this daf, where the first time it appears in the second line Yud Zayin and Aleph, Ein bei Nazir mei tami shenazir lenayir tar, Shenitma ela tamei shenazar shvi shelo olul leminya and nazar tar shenitma ain shvi shelo olul leminya. Another practical difference. We've been talking about when you take an Naziris when you're tamei or you're in a base akvaros. So obviously it doesn't. You can't start counting your 30-day Naziris until you leave the base akvaros. Once you leave the base akvaros, right, you have to go and sprinkle yourself with may para on the seventh day and the third day and the seventh day, and then you have to go to the mikvah. After you go to the mikvah, you're considered toher. And if you went to the mikvah in the middle of the day, so what happens is, usually most times you go to the mikvah in the middle of the day. So you go to the mikvah the rest of the day. After you go to the mikvah, you're considered toher, and that remainder of the day is the first day of your 30-day Naziris. You only have to be shomer another 29 days in Naziris, as opposed to someone who accepted Naziris when he was toher, and then he became tamei, tumas ames, the corpse tuma. Then he has to not only wait 7 days, right, and shave his head and go to the mikvah on the 7th day, but on the 8th day he has to bring karbanos, karban asham. He has to bring 2 birds. So even though technically he's tar, he's only called mechusar kippurim, right? In terms of eating kudshim, that depends on his bringing karbanos. But in terms of even eating truma, once you go tfulia, once you eat truma, once you go to the mikvah, sorry, you can eat ma'aser sheni that day. Right, truma, if you're a kohen, you have to wait till shkia, like in the beginning of Masechus Brachos. But technically, once you go to the mikvah on the 7th day, you're toher to eat ma'aser sheni. Now, why don't we count Mixim Kekula over there? We don't say that's the Bryce says Mixim Kekula. We don't say over there. So I think it's understood based on this logic over here that the concept of Mixim Kekula doesn't mean that part of a day is actually like an entire day. Because if that was true, it would apply in both cases. It would apply, right? As long as I went to the mikvah on the 7th day, and part of that 7th day remains where I'm tohor now, it should count as the first day of my Naziros. However, if you say the pshat is that Mixed Yom Kekulo, it's like a svara logic. Mixed Yom is like an entire day. So whether I bring a korban tomorrow or not shouldn't make a difference. I have a day of Tara, so it should count. However, if the pshat is that no, it means it's enough. Mixed Yom Kekulo means it's enough. So only when we're forced to say it's enough is it enough. So in a case where I don't have a korban tomorrow, there's nothing contradicting what I'm doing today. So we say it's enough. However, when I have to bring a korban tomorrow, because I have to bring korbanos after, right, to end the Naziros of Tuma, right, that I became tummy in the middle of my Naziros, I bring a korban tomorrow. So we can't say it's enough because there's a contradiction over here. We only say it's enough when there's nothing else interfering. When we have alidei atchak, we're forced to say that we have nothing else interfering. But if I have a contradiction, tomorrow I'm still a little bit of a Nazir tamei because I have to bring a korbanos tomorrow. So in that case, you wouldn't say enough mixiyam is enough. You wouldn't say that. However, if you said it's just a blank svara, a logical argument that part of a day of Tara is the entire day, so you should be able to start in both cases, start counting on the 7th day. The fact that you're not able to lends credence to the fact mixiyam kahula means it's enough, but we only say it's enough when there's no other option. If there's another option, because something's contradictory, we wouldn't say it's enough. You have to wait till the next day to start counting your 30 days of Naziros. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.